All right, so what is it that we're making today?
This is Sou Boereg, which is a specialty of my mother. She was originally from Yozgat, which was in Turkey, where there were many Armenians. And this is a specialty of that city. And I have 6 eggs in here, and I'm going to beat up. We want this light and fluffy. And then we have 1 tablespoon of salt that we will add. This is 3 tablespoons of Wesson oil. Or you can substitute olive oil if you want.
Okay. And Wesson's a canola oil, right?
Canola, yes. Canola oil. Okay, now, this is 2 cups of flour.
And there's a total of 3 cups in the bowl, right? Plus 1 extra cup.
I added 3 cups of flour.
Okay.
And it's best to just mix this with your hands. And I'm adding 3 tablespoons of water. I'm adding it slowly.
Okay. And how old are you at this point, Elizabeth?
How old am I?
Yes.
You're getting personal here.
I know. I hate to do it, but
86.
I'm trying to get a gauge for a time frame. And how old would you say this recipe is? Since you're 86, your mother had it before you were born.
And she had it from her mother.
What?
So, I'd say over 100 years. Easily.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Maybe
sure.
150.
Maybe 150?
50?
Yeah, it could easily be that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my mother's sisters, 2 of them, had it. Also, the same recipe. And my mother's name was, her maiden name was Setyan. Her married name was Makruhi
So your grandmother's name again was?
Parim Sima.
Okay.
It was Setyan, and that was her married name.
Oh, okay. And they were all from Armenia.
Yes. I have to add a little bit more flour.
Okay, and there's an extra cup in there.
Now, right at this point, this is a sticky dough.
Is that how it's going to end up?
No.
So while you're mixing, are you able to talk about the rolling pin that we have here?
Yes. Shortly after my parents married, my father made that for my mother. And that's got to be over 125 years easily.
Right, yep. And it's tapered on both ends, so it's about the diameter of a standard broomstick. However, both ends are tapered.
And it's called the dowel, D-O-W-L.
Okay.
Can you add some more flour, please? Second? Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
So you add the 4th cup a little at a time until you get the dough to consistency of where you want it.
That's fine, thank you.
And what does that do? The oil
That-
on your hands.
Helps get the dough off your hands. Twisting it. Now this is a sticky dough.
And you keep kneading and adding some flour until it's not sticky anymore, right?
I need a little bit more flour, please. That's great, thank you.
Now, how is it that you know when you need more flour?
From the feel, the consistency. Do you want to try it?
No, what does it feel like?
Sticky.
Like too wet, too sticky?
Sticky.
Okay. And the goal is to get it
More
smooth and not sticky.
Not sticky, yeah.
Okay, so this is almost done. And what did you say it felt like?
It's about what your earlobe feels like, the rubberiness of your earlobe.
And the softness.
Softness too, right?
So the dough's done. It's not sticky anymore. A little bit tacky, but not sticky.
So now we have the dough all kneaded. What is the next step?
separating it into balls and just lining it up on the table, covering it with plastic wrap, and letting it sit for about 15-20 minutes.
All right, and talk to us about tools you're using this time.
Just the knife.
Okay, and the knife has a story, right?
Yeah, it was my mother's.
And so it's pretty old also.
Yes, it is.
And it was a gift from your father, right?
Well, yes, he had bought this for her when they got married.
Okay.
Yep.
We measured out 4 cups of flour. There was 3 in the bowl. There was another cup here, and there's about a 1/4 cup of this left. So we used 3 3/4 cups of flour to get the dough where we need it.
Here, make a ball.
So is that what Miss Mama would do?
Yeah, this is what Miss Mama would do.
And what does that do?
This prevents it from the surface from drying out.
Oh.
In those days, we didn't have plastic wrap. We had wax paper.
Ah.
Oh, okay. And what does mesmama mean?
Grandmother,
Okay.
which would be Anusha's grandmother.
Right.
My mother would
Okay.
be Mama.
All right. Okay, so let's talk about what's on the tray that gets
Okay.
added after
All
the pasta's ready.
Parsley that has been washed and is now going to be chopped.
Uh-huh.
And Muenster cheese.
Okay.
I found it in 8-ounce packs. You could also go to the deli, ask them to take their Muenster cheese and cut off a block of 1.5 pounds.
And then how much parsley?
2 to 3 tablespoons. You have to eyeball it.
And then we're going to grate the cheese, right?
Yes.
And which section of the grater, what size are you going to use?
This size.
Okay. Yeah, that's the pretty standard size for grating of cheese. Okay, so we salt the water with about how much?
A good tablespoon.
Okay. And we're using this long pan because it'll be easier to get the sheets in and out of the pan.
Yeah.
And then what happens after we're going to roll the pasta,
The dough.
I'm sorry. We're going to
All right.
roll the dough.
Dip it in here for about a minute. And if you do it longer than that, the dough will fall apart. And then take it from there and put it in ice water. And then take it out of that and dry it with tea towels. And lay it in your buttered pan.
Okay.
And then butter each layer of dough.
And how many layers do we go?
I think 3. And then we put the cheese and the parsley and then top it with another 3 layers. Some people do 4. My mother used to do 6.
6 total.
They used to do 7. My mother did 6. I'm sticking to the 6.
Okay, good. And this is what we have for the ingredients. 24 ounces of Muenster cheese. We have 3 tablespoons of finely chopped parsley. We're going to start with 1 stick of salted butter, and then we'll be brushing that on as we go.
Yeah, it's a 1/4 pound of butter. Okay. Now these we're using half trays or 1/4 trays, and just butter it, the bottom and the sides.
Okay. And this is that stick of butter that we melted,
Yes,
right?
this is that 1/4 pound of butter.
Okay. A little flour on the table for the rolling.
Okay. So you want to kind of go slow to begin with and just kind of roll back and forth, spin it. And you want to use this part of your hands, not your fingers.
Okay.
You want to get here?
No. You want to cut this in half?
No, I want you to do it.
Okay, so we have it rolled out,
Yeah.
and now we're going to cut it.
To make it easier to cook it.
Now we're getting the ice bath ready for the pasta.
Okay.
And this will stop it cooking, correct?
Yeah.
We're going to put a little bit of oil into the boiling water, probably about 1 tablespoon.
Just dip this in. Make sure it's submerged.
For how long?
Barely a minute. You see how it's getting thicker, if that's the right
Yeah.
expression?
Yeah, absorbing water, right?
Yeah. Dump it right in here. Try to squeeze a little bit, being very gentle. Just lay that on top and gently pat it.
Okay.
Okay. And then
Put it onto the buttered tray.
yeah.
So you figure 10, 15 seconds?
Another maybe 20, 25.
Okay.
It just, you know, it's eye measurement. You just
Right,
have
it's
to,
feel.
yeah, feel.
You gotta feel it. And this is how you feel it. Your mom shows you, and then you get the feel for it.
Okay, that looks good.
That's good?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And let me get this tail out.
There we go. Right now it feels like a squid.
There we go. And then while that is, just butter this.
Now we're doing the half sheets.
Yes.
So if we were doing a full
Yeah.
sheet, we wouldn't be cutting these.
No, we would not. That's true. Okay.
Alright.
Now, this is on this side. So make that on this side.
To even it out.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, the cut piece.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because that'll be the extra that you fold over.
See, that's the thicker part there.
Oh,
So you don't want two
right.
thick parts.
right. I follow
Yeah.
you.
So you kind of fold it over like this.
No, try and do it like, if you can, like this.
So you
Like
gather
fluff it.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. Like that.
Uh-huh, that's
So
it.
you don't fold
And
it,
then-
you kind of gather
Yeah,
it.
that's it. And
It's-
then, do you want to butter that?
Sure.
Now, that's the second one.
Okay. Alright, so now we're rolling out. And it's important when you roll, you want to use your palm right here. Here and here, not your fingers. And I tend to work from the middle out. And then, Mom, do you want to show the trick? Mm-hmm. Come on. Oops. Need more flour.
And from the center out. And then, you just Go ahead.
It's getting a little sticky. And then just turn it and do all the sides. There we go.
Right. So it don't have to be a perfect roll. It's not like it's going on something round. It's going into a square pan. You're going to cut it and bunch up any of the extra. It's more about the thickness than the shape.
Right, you want it thin. I have a little hole, but that's okay. That won't matter.
Okay, so finished, this is what it looks like. Again, we've said it, but it's 3 layers. You butter the pan, and then you butter in between each layer. And then the cheese with the parsley, and then 3 more layers of the dough. We have extra hot water on the side in the teapot to add to the pan as the water goes down in the pan. Along with, we continually add ice into the ice bath. Size of the aluminum trays that we're using are 12 1/4 by 8 1/4 by 1 3/32. Okay, so here's 2 finished half sheets. We did end up using a little bit more butter, probably another half a stick, because you have to paint them in between, and then the top layer needs to be liberally put on. Plus we have a little quarter sheet that we're going to have for lunch today. Here's the quarter sheet in the oven, and that's a real small pan, like 9 by 9. The last thing we're going to do is cover them with plastic wrap, like cellophane, and then also put aluminum foil on them, and then they freeze well. This is what it looks like when it's finished being cooked. We'd like to let it get brown on top. Can you pull that out, babe? And there you go. That's what it looks supposed to look like. Oh, nice and crispy on top.